Welcome, Crypto Nation. How are y'all doing today? On this lovely Monday, December 3rd, 2018. Thanks for tuning in. This is No Noise with your host, Z-Rex. And we like to do these live. I try to do them as much as I can. Without further ado, let's just get into some price action, because it has been moving just ever so slightly. Here are some of the big movers of the day. Dogecoin, everyone's favorite. The Shiba, or Shibu, I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those. Up about 5% today. Everything else, red and boring. As you can see here, flat. These should be flat though, as they are stable coins. These top four behind Doge. Let's see in the last week though. Waves been killing it. Let's actually go look at Waves. Waves has been doing very good this last week. Yeah, wow, look at that. Let's go on a daily. Find a resistance here initially at the 55 daily EMA, so definitely a no trade zone for myself. Nice little move here off these lows though. What is it, about a buck? Yeah, about $1 there. And let's zoom out. Looks left. Yeah, man, look at all this. Is around like 30 cents. Let's see on the 4 hour. Yeah, look at that. Nice. On the 4 hour, it did jump over the 21 exponential here and then battled, consolidated right on the 55 EMA and continued to have a nice run. This is kind of what you want to look for if you're looking for entries and positions. And of course, this would work both ways. So, you know, get over here. It's kind of confirming that we are changing the trend, and then ultimately consolidating and getting above the 55 is your ultimate confirmation. And did a nice little shakeout right here as the last little squeeze before running. Yeah, but pretty nice though. Was in the power, up towards the power zone, and officially got into it right here on this bar. So even if you miss that and wait for that, I mean, you're still, shit, that's another 30-40 cents. They are losing some momentum on the 4 hour, and they have lost it completely on the hourly, so yeah, not really a great chart anymore. I don't think you can short Waves. Waves is a decentralized exchange, if you don't know. It's pretty cool, pretty solid, probably one of the better ones out there for sure, besides BitShares, which is my favorite one. Maker token, BAT's up there. Little bouncing. Most of this is just kind of relief bouncing from, you know, the major sell-offs. The last day, though, pretty lackluster movement. Global market cap did just take a hit, about 10 billion, back over here to 126. Bitcoin dominance still staying steady in the low 50s. It's been like that for a long time. All right, let's just jump right into Mama Bear. Let's go start with some futures. See how the futures volume's looking over here. So this is a daily chart of the CME futures contract. Well below the 21. Lots of volume here. Tapered off in this little sideways action. So nothing really to extract from this. I just like to kind of keep an eye on there. Let's see where GBTC is at. Oh my gosh. All the way down here in the $5 range. That is pretty gnarly. That is death. What is that from up here on the highs? Oh my gosh. Going too fast here. Let's see. Woo! About 90% down. I wonder what the premium is in GBTC. Let me look that up real quick. There's a good website that a guy does. I think it's Neotech Devs. Yeah, it is Neotech Devs. Does the calculation for you. I'll put it in the chat here if y'all want to check that out. Definitely something I look at. Yeah, so you can just check it out here. I'll pull it on screen real quick. You can see it's just real simple ass website. You can go look at a chart. Doesn't really give you a whole lot. I guess we can go out on a monthly or something. There you go. So you can see premium was really low back here, so we're back up in the 22% range. And if you want to do your own calculation to test with it and play around, you're definitely more than welcome to do that. But yeah, here, back down over here, you're seeing we got below 10%, so the premium was really cheap. And that's probably like the lowest it's ever been, yeah. Yeah, I always remember it being usually around 25, 30, and we're getting back up into that regular range, which is crazy, insane premium on this. Just kind of an interesting metric to kind of keep your eye on. I don't buy GBTC. I'm not down with paying fat premiums like this when I can just go buy spot. I get it, like if you need it in an IRA or other stuff like that, that makes sense, but not for myself. All right, let's take that off the screen. Alrighty, back over to the Mama Bear bit stamping. So we had this, we talked about it yesterday, how this price action sucked. Didn't really want to see it. Back over here, consolidating, breaking out of the triangle that I did already erase, which was something along these lines, like that. There is kind of an interesting one forming here with the wicks. You can draw like this. I'm sorry, the tails. That you can draw something about like that. Kind of interesting. I usually like to use the bodies of the candles, not the wicks, but I just did notice this when I was getting ready to do the show. But right now, hourly is very, very bearish. And now the RSI is even confirming that, going down in here into the below 30 area in the very weak zone. Not the oversold zone. That's a dumb phrase to use. That's for sheep. No, professionals aren't using oversold and overbought as terms, generally speaking, that's for sure. Yeah, so here we are getting some momentum to the downside. I mean, if we wanted to count this on the wicks, you know, I guess we could. That'd put you at like a trend line cross, because I got the top one on wicks, so we'll do the bottom line ones there too. And you have a trend line cross at 3,900, which goes with all this. So that's going to be hardcore resistance at this point in time, which I do have an alert right over here at about 39.50-ish. I am short this move here and I won't really think about getting back out of that until we at least get over this trend line, but most importantly back above 4,200, which is that number that we've been talking about for the last couple weeks, even back over here in this action. Let's see here. Let's go back to 4 hour real quick. Yeah, 4 hours just now getting bearish too. They just got into the power zone on this last 4 hour candle. So that is interesting. It is like a hammer type candle, so bulls are trying to defend it. But, you know, at this point, I am leaning very bearish. Definitely if we're below 39 and underneath this consolidation. And just kind of watch this 21 exponential on the hourly. We keep just riding down this guy, which we have been since back over here on the second, around, I guess yesterday evening. Finally like broke down out of that and hasn't really looked back since. 1 week attempt right here. But ultimately this is going to be what I'm watching to see if the momentum is going to be shifting anytime soon. It doesn't appear to be the case though, as we discussed yesterday. This being some type of flag of some sort. If you kind of pull like something like that, right? No, that's really sloppy. This isn't science, so it's okay. Draw some crown stuff on here. And as we did the measured move from this, if this were to play out on a flag, you know, is putting us around, you know, really low numbers, guys, sub 2,000. Not saying that's going to pan out, but that is just this measured move from this, what appears to be a semi-type bear flag. And we've kind of even had little mini ones in here too, like this one and this one. Let's actually just draw for fun on there and see. We got that one. And let's see if that ended up working out. Yeah, pretty close. Look at that. Held right into the middle range and all that. And let's just bring that same one down since it was the same. Yeah, look at that. Almost twice. Double flags there. So we have little mini flags inside of this giant flag. We're just bear flagging all over the place. On the daily though, let's see. Yep, bears are still in the power zone. One thing I guess that is a little bit notable here is the RSI. Let me extend this over here. RSI on the 4 hour is still kind of above this little trend line, and if you lose that kind of trend line, then this is probably going to break down pretty fast. It already is looking like it wants to do so. Let's go to Unicorn Man, Unicorn shirt wearing man. Here we are back below 110 on Ethereum. 4 hours just now getting back to the bearish mode, and it has been about the same exact pattern as Bitcoin yesterday. Not really much new information here, just kind of some follow through from what we were talking about last night. So on the daily, still bearish, and on Ethereum, you know, let's see. Oh, that's not what I want to look at. No RSI, no beautiful RSI-ness like on Bitcoin's. A little bit, but not as nice. And the daily is still struggling just to even get back over 30. So that is not a great sign. And it looks like we just got rejected from the bottom of this trend line channel too, which is definitely not a good sign either. So let me go ahead and put an alert here. Breaking 103. Let's just call it 100. Give me a little cushion. And then for the upside, I'm going to go with, let me zoom in a little bit on the hourly. I'm going to go with kind of this consolidation here, which, let's see if we actually have that trend line, kind of like Bitcoin. Nah, not really. I mean, kind of, but it's pretty much just a horizontal at this point. So if we can't get really back above, I'm going to call it like let's just call it 120-ish. We'll be a little conservative here. Give us some wiggle room. All right, yeah, so not looking super great. Kind of in the same boat as Mama Bear. Let's go over to Litecoin. Litecoin is finding some support on the bottom part of its trend channel, so that's a little different, especially relative to Ethereum. So that's interesting looking. I'm sure a lot of people were looking at this as some kind of wacky inverted head and shoulders or something. I don't know. Crypto Twitter just loves to just call everything head and shoulders. It's it's pretty silly. But yeah, this is interesting. You are getting some volume right here picking up though, and usually when you're in the downtrend and get rejected from a bunch of these major trend lines here, and also moving averages. There it is. I was like, where the hell is the 55 not popping up? There, just a little late to the party. So yeah, on this, man, 33-ish, no bueno. I'm gonna go ahead and put me an alert there, and I'm gonna put me one right over here. Oops, not to the watch list. I did not want to do that. I want to put me one right there. All right, so looking a little bit better, but yeah, this volume picking up, that's probably going to be continuation here. And like we discussed yesterday, a lot of people, even with Litecoin, we can show this, you know, a lot of people that bought even last year, I mean, you're talking only mid-summer, late summer, early fall, those people just now got tested. No one, I mean, look at this. This is February over here, and in January, so no one even has been tested that bought almost in the first 2 quarters of last year. So let's not forget, Litecoin was $5 a year ago. Okay, actually it was $3.80 if we want to be technical, going back to December right here. So just some food for thought. If you think that these cannot go lower, they most definitely can. Not saying that they will. I'm just waiting for the charts to tell me. Right now they are telling me downside pressure is in favor at the moment. So do be a little bit careful out there. Let's go to the rips. Breaking out of this 36 range we were just talking about yesterday too. Kind of just following the same type patterns. Very bearish. Looking real bearish on the 4 hour even. We lose 34 cents on Ripple, guys, and we're coming back down to mid-20s probably with a quickness, and I would probably go ahead and just look for 20 cents. If we break low 30s, about 33, 34 cents. So do keep an eye out on that. I'm actually going to go put me an alert right here at around 32 cents to give me, you know, just in case. You can't watch all these coins. Alerts are amazing. If you don't have TradingView Pro, it's definitely worth it. No, they don't pay me or anything. I'm just saying I love it. I use it. You can do text message alerts on Pro, which is really nice. And you can put a lot of different indicators on, which you probably should be careful with. Don't put too many on. It just makes it confusing. Let's see here. Yeah, so XRP, same type pattern, breaking down, being below the 21 exponential on an hourly, and having all this weakness on the internals. Looks like we've got room to the downside. Let's see if the privacy coins are kind of playing along. Yep, same type formations, just breaking down. This happens a lot, this kind of pattern. When it does actually break, it'll kind of go sideways and let the moving average catch up to it, especially the 21, and then get rejected off of there. Now, of course, sometimes it doesn't happen. It does bust through it, like you can see right here. It did just wail all the way through the 3 exponentials, and sometimes that does happen with a funny little BART pattern there. Silly BART patterns. But yeah, so those are really good inflection points. Just kind of FYI there. But yeah, bearish, very bearish on the 1 hour, and the 4 hour is starting to look pretty damn bearish as well, getting rejected as we talked about yesterday, consistently after this pump under the 55 exponential. This was likely just a relief liquidation break for a continuation to the downside. Let's see here. Let's go to Dash and Tether USD. Why not? Let's mix it up. Looks same chart. Gosh, not very much volume on Polo. Oh, let's get that out of there. That's ugly. I don't like looking at charts like that. Isn't that? There it is, Bitfinex. Yeah, getting pretty destroyed here. If y'all recall from a video or two ago, we did discuss that $35 on like 30, pretty much the 30 handle. And if you don't know what handle means, that's just like the range. So if you say a 30 handle, you're talking anywhere from like $30 to $40 pretty much. So 30 handle is going to be real good support for that. It looks like it's on its way to go test that. This is a really bad looking pattern here. Let me put my horizontals on. Yeah, very bearish. 1 hour, super bearish. 4 hour, super bearish. And the 4 hour, the bulls are about to get pushed into the forgotten zone. So that is not a great sign for the horned creatures at this moment. All right, let's go to, you know, we haven't looked at Tron in a while. Let's pull up some Tron. Probably going to look the same. Oh, look at that. Maybe not. No, Tron's actually looking a little bit better than the other ones, but it does look like it's just late to the party of breaking down. As you can see here, getting some rejection yesterday. Let me see on the hourly. Yeah, I guess it was kind of about the same type breakdown. It just looks a little different on this chart. It's not on the lows, though, like the other ones are. You know, here's kind of Bitcoin and Litecoins and everything. They're about like in this range, or they're like down here now. They broke out of this range today. So Tron will probably follow. It's got very bearish internals on the hour, 4 hour, or 4 hours about to go bearish, and the 850 is about to reignite to bearish mode 2. And you can see this triple exponential support around 13 cents is getting tested right now. So if that loses, we're probably going to come test the bottom of this range with a quickness. All right, let's go to, what did I want to look at? I can't remember now. Crap. Well, guess we're just going to skip over to equities. Trying to do these videos a little bit faster. So I hope that y'all like that new type of moving, grooving format here. So equities had an interesting day. Of course, gapped up on that news from G20 crap. But again, like we were talking about, it's like It's just a kicking the can down the road to party maybe to the end of the week or to the end of the year. All they did was pretty much truce for 3 months. Nothing really came out of that. It was a big kind of, look, almost just like a party. You got, like I said, President Putin high-fiving with the Saudi, you know, prince and stuff about oil prices and how they're not going to cut anything and just keep pumping oil out everywhere. And you know, just while I'm on that note, you know, oil didn't care. Look at this. It pumped hardcore. It was up like 4 or 5% today. Again, guys, that's why I don't care about news overall, because something that you think would be super bearish to add more downside pressure made oil rally, you know, $4 almost. So, yeah. And that's also on the back of like extra production too. They do reports every week on oil, and you know, even after all of that, it's still rallied. It's just kind of funny. But anyway, back to ES. If we look at this on a daily, this isn't the candle that you want to see, though, if you want to get bullish and stay bullish. This is a spinning top here. It's a type of doji from the doji family of candles. You can see here's one back here. That's more of a textbook type of doji. And you can see it was a reversal endpoint. You can see lots of dojis up here. This just really mean, it doesn't mean it has to reverse, right? Nothing's 100%, but it does show indecision in this market, which totally makes sense if you think about the narrative I outlined last night and just a second ago about, you know, if this is only a 3-month kick the can down the road, let's party for another few months and then maybe we'll figure something out and then the tensions will come back, etc. The market kind of showed that today, that everybody's on that page, kind of like, oh wait, this is awesome. Wow, well wait, shit, 3 months is like right down the road. Crap. I don't know. So we are kind of boxing ourselves into some fib areas here if you want to kind of measure this move. You know, this is like the 618 where a lot of this business is done, and then the 618 from this retracement down is right here. So we're kind of like boxing ourselves in. It doesn't look super bearish yet. If we lose this 55 exponential, obviously that won't look too good. We did go back neutral pretty much by open here. You know, this was all overnight session, and this candle was the open, so pretty much sold all that. This is a standard though. A lot of times in overnight sessions, when you get big gaps, they do get faded. This didn't get faded all the way to the gap. That would have been nice. It would have been like a one-day gap fill up and down. That would be a real good setup. It is super damn close though. You could probably argue that this is you could chalk that up as filling the gap. So, and that's on the ES. On the Russell, it actually did fill. We are above on the daily though on all our exponentials, so I'm kind of looking at this bullish until we break back below like 2750. It's kind of where I'm looking at right now on the ES. But yeah, you can see the daily, the bulls are about to get into the power zone, which they have not been in since all the way back in August. So yeah, maybe Santa Claus is going to bring everybody some nice presents for this year in the market. Here you go, another little doji. This is actually kind of like a shooting star one. So it is right on the 55 exponential. Yeah, this is just showing that confusion that I outlaid just a second ago about the only being 3 months down the road. But we did get this gap. Can't get really too bearish on this until we almost break where this gap was, which is about 69.70 on the NASDAQ. So watching that. Let's go to the 4 hour, maybe zoom in a little bit. You can see the bulls have been in the power zone all the way back over here with perfect confluence on the 55 plus this. This is super textbook. Those are really high probability trades. And then, you know, it just kind of ran from there. It hasn't looked back. So looking pretty good. It is coming to the bottom of this long-term trend line support though. So pretty serious, oh my goodness, pretty serious resistance that it actually got sold off on. And that goes all the way back to April of 2017. So not a super long-term one, but definitely notable. All right, let's go to Russell. Russell's the one that did fill the gap today. So you have the gap up. Immediately Here's the morning candle, morning open, got sold all the way off, filled that gap real nice, and rallied fairly decently into the end of the day, right to these blue dots, which is a triple exponential, which is a real good kind of management line that I kind of use it for, or management dots, I guess, on a line. But look at this, the point of control today was right where we came back to. So, and I would bet if we pulled up the volume profile, we probably have a pretty decent distribution here. Let me go ahead and zoom out and let me look. It's a little bit thin in the middle, so okay. So I was looking for more something like this one. Or this one, and what you're looking for in this type of volume profile is your standard type bell curve, right? And I know that's kind of ugly, but you get the idea, right? They look something like that. So that's what you're kind of looking for. Of course, you're going to see it on a sideways action. If you see something like that, that means price was fairly distributed. So usually I don't even look at those. I kind of just like the point of control mostly, unless I want to dive a little deeper. But yeah, so this interesting kind of same thing. If we can stay above the 55 exponential, definitely in the 21 for the 4 hour and 55 on the 1 hour, I think this is still pretty bullish. So this is still setting up for that W type pattern we talked about, but this, look, another spinning top on the rut. So that's a lot of spinny tops and doji type formations. Of course, doesn't mean that it has to go down, right? You have one here that didn't happen. I mean, you have a bunch of dojis in here. You know, you do have a couple here that you got the reversals on and down here. But, you know, it's just interesting that they're all printing the same type of a candle. Let's go to the YM, which is the Dow. Looks a lot like the ES. And what's interesting is some of them are bullish type ones and some are bearish. And I mean just by the color that they closed, you know, whether it was white or green. So it's like super mixed up. And totally makes sense by the big kind of nothing burger, really, that they did at the G20. It was exciting, but like there's pretty much no outcome. It was just like I said, kicking the can down the road for 3 months so they can all go party for a little bit longer. Let's go to oil. Good old Earl. So Earl, I got a little bit long today. We haven't been around, and it's a little bit of an aggressive long for sure on the 4 hour, considering we've been getting destroyed. So I just did a small position in that. I'll go heavy once we get a close above the 21 exponential, then I'll get a lot more bullish. But I'm just nibbling a little bit because on the 4 hour we have not been even above the 21 exponential on the 4 hour since, I guess if you want to be real technical, you can count this about a 67.5. But really, since all the way back up to 70s, it hasn't been above that. And it definitely has not been above the 55 exponential since $74. So this, that's why I'm getting semi-aggressive here, you know. I'll stop out real quick if it breaks below this 21 exponential. But I thought the risk to reward on this was pretty good. And I'm just looking for maybe a shoot up to this purple 144 exponential, which also coincides with this sideways action at about 56, 57 bucks. So, yeah, but it's still kind of neutral. I'm just playing that one solely off of it being finally back around the 55 on the 4 hour. So that's kind of what I'm playing there. Still overall in the long term, oil does not look like a really bullish chart though. Oh, there we go. Trying to load it up. Let's go on a weekly. Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of pretty damn gnarly moves here. We are so far below all these exponentials. Doesn't mean you can't get farther below them, but we are really far away from the 21 on a weekly looking at this now. So that's interesting. Yeah, getting a pop back up to high 50s or 60 is totally in the cards, and that wouldn't even negate its bearish stance either. So That is a little bit interesting. So you know I watch oil a lot. All right, let's go to gold. Gold is looking pretty good here, actually. Riding up this consolidation of the 21 and 55 daily. Did get rejected at the purple 144, but that's okay. It's closed right at it. Let's see, on the 4 hour, we did get, we do have the bears in the weak zone and the bulls in the power zone, so that looks nice. And we are testing this long term. This is a 987 exponential. These are based off Fibonacci, the Fibonacci sequence, if you're wondering where I get those. Yeah, so here we are testing this upper part of the range. Looks pretty good, but ultimately, you know, you can't really get too bullish unless we break above 1250 or so. And doing that, we probably will get us a run to 1300. I am scaling into longer term gold plays and select miners at the moment, but I still do think gold has another good down spike. Down spike, is that a thing? Downturn in it over the next year or so, especially if the dollar continues to show some power. Yeah, but overall looking pretty good. Let's go check out the miners real fast, see if they're agreeing. It seems to be that they are. They didn't get the pop off of this consolidation though, like gold did, so not the best sign. You usually want miners to run with the gold price too. But yeah, this is this weird, like we talked about yesterday, this weird kind of double inverted head and shoulders pattern that's playing out. Kind of odd. I don't know if I've seen one of those before. But overall, still kind of same trend line here. You can kind of draw it like that. It looks very similar to gold's. Looks like there's even kind of one from this range. Yeah. So apex on that is beginning of the year. It's interesting timing for sure. All right, back to Bitcoin, Mama Bear, with final thoughts. Let's see what it's doing while I've been yapping. Oh, look at that, nice little pop. Up like, what is that, 40 bucks or so. Coming up to this longer term exponential. This is a 5 minute, so, you know, don't put too much weight on a 5 minute. I like to look at the hourly. If you listen, you'll definitely know that. Hourly resistance on the 21 exponential is coming in right at that 39-ish level. So, again, do be careful here. This price action does look a little weak to me. If bulls were going to make it, I feel like they should have made it on this attempt here. And maybe did something like this, tested this area, and come back, test this top of the channel, and then take off. But they're not doing that. They're getting sold off hard every time they get it even close to the 55. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Not much difference from yesterday. Just did get a little bit of this move here. Little confirmation. Price action right now is telling us that bears are gaining momentum. So hedge appropriately or buy your favorite stablecoin, maybe. I don't know. Do what you want to do, whatever your risk tolerance is. But I am short and I am fully hedged. Also, I'm short speculatively and I'm fully hedged on my portfolio, which I have been fully hedged on it since it broke 5,500. Just because you kind of have to be. That's what price is telling you. And you don't know more than price does, and I don't know you need more than price does either. I know a lot of people think that they do, but it's definitely tough. But yeah, could we consolidate down here? If you want to, like a rosy situation, can we consolidate down here for upside? Yeah, absolutely. That could totally happen. Just the way it's kind of playing out right now, I don't think that's super likely. But the thing that is decent is this divergence on the 4 hour that has played out since pretty much most of this sell-off. So, keeping it simple, guys, right here. Pretty much probably no trade zone for most people. If you don't have any positions on, just wait for it to break out of here. 42 or 36, you know. Keep it simple, stupid. The KISS method. Don't overthink shit. It's what makes you trade really bad. And again, let's look at the monthly real fast. We are finding support at this 55 exponential, which is at 3,700. So that is definitely the line in the sand. That gets taken out. Man, we are definitely going to test 3K and probably 2K pretty fast. This is not looking great on a monthly time frame by any means. Just like I discussed in the video last night. If this was going to be a capitulation candle, which a lot of people are talking about, I do not think that it is. Look at this booty volume. It didn't even come outside of the average cloud here I have in gray on the bottom on a monthly. So that's not really enough volume for what's considered capitulation. Now, what we need to see if it possibly could be is this one to dip down and close, but it needs to close back like up in this range. Like it needs to kind of engulf a lot of this one. But right now, doesn't look like it's happening. But that is kind of the bull, you know, the moon, moon boy stance. If that's what you want to call it. Couldn't come up with a better phrase for that at the moment. But yeah, so still kind of bearish here until we get over 42, which we've had a struggle. And look at this over here too. You had a doji that closed pretty much right at 4,200. Showing indecision at that price, so that was also more confirmation that the bears are in control still. Let's see if the bulls can hold that 3,700 level. You also have a couple point of controls down there, and this trend line at that support. So, with that said, I'll be signing off here. Thanks for tuning in. If you had any got any value or anything, please sub, bell, and click those like buttons. And this has been No Noise with your host Z-Rex. Have an awesome rest of your Monday. And happy trading. Peace.